Should I let this news ruin my day? No. Will I? Probably. Yeah, we got two bits of news today. The first one that makes me a little bit more mad, we'll talk about that. And the second one is regarding RCR. Of course, Richard Childress Racing, Austin Dillon specifically, they have teased that they had some big off-season moves that they were going to make in order to improve the team. So we're going to talk about those. But first, I swear you can't turn the corner without things changing these days. You got a new apartment complex, a new neighborhood, a random bunch of buildings popping up. But yeah, they're changing the racetracks now. I'm kidding. I mean, racetracks always change. They get repaved, they get resurfaced, whatever it may be. But why? I don't know why this is happening, but the Circuit of the Americas today announced that they are changing the track for NASCAR. They're going to be running the national circuit, which, get a good look at it. It's much shorter. It's about 2.3 miles. There it is. If you want a side-by-side of the full course versus the partial course, there you go. Their decision-making or their reasoning is that there's more laps and more action. Okay. More laps, that's statistically correct. But you eliminate the passing zone at turn 11 completely, and you shorten the backstretch by a lot, which is going to limit the passing opportunities at turn 12. Why? I don't understand this decision. I really don't. COTA is a really good road course. We have had really good racing here. Last year's race was all right. It was kind of meh. Not much happened. But outside of this year, we've had some great racing. That battle for the lead in 2023 between Tyler Reddick and William Byron before, the crash fest at turn 1. 2022, the thrilling finish between Chastain, Allmendinger, and Bowman. 2021, even though it was a rain out and it got really ugly in the rain, the racing itself was actually pretty good. If you just ignore the whole, almost dying in the rain. But outside of that, we've had pretty good racing at COTA, so why are we changing it? And Xfinity's put on great shows too. Look at the finish this year. Look at the race this year in Xfinity. I don't understand this decision. The more laps thing, that's not a passable reason for me. Ironic that I used the word passable there. You completely eliminate one passing zone and you completely shorten another that's going to limit passing. I don't understand this decision. I truly don't. I'm going to need someone in the comments to explain it to me because I truly don't understand it. Someone with a bigger brain than me, please tell me why. And please do not use the logic of there are more laps. I've seen some people bring up that there is less caution laps or less time under caution. Well, okay, that's true, I guess. That's 1 point for you. But I just don't get it. I genuinely do not get why we are shortening a really good road course that has produced some pretty good racing. Really don't understand it. But in more exciting news, Richard Childress Racing announced their changes, the big ones they've been teasing since July. Yeah, we've got a new crew chief for Austin Dillon for the 8th time. Though this time it's not rotating between Keith Rodden and Justin Alexander. They actually went out of RCR to get someone else, and then some competition leadership. So let's read it. Keith Rodden named Vice President of Competition. John Klossmeyer joins RCR's technical director, and Richard Boswell named the crew chief of the number 3 Chevrolet. Richard Childress Racing announced this week several key competition leadership appointments ahead of the 2025 NASCAR season. Keith Rodden has been promoted from interim competition director to vice president of competition for RCR, where he will play a larger role in competition administration functions for the 55-year-old race team. In his new role, Rodden will provide forward thinking and direction in all areas of performance and budgeting and lead strategic performance-based partnerships, including technology collaborations with Chevrolet, Dow, and Lenovo. John Klossmeyer has joined RCR as a technical director, overseeing all technical engineering activities for the high-performance motorsports team and focusing his energies on vehicle systems engineering, design, and metrology. The Baltimore, Maryland native will provide departmental oversight for RCR's talented team of engineers and crew chiefs. Klossmeyer comes to RCR with more than 20 years of motorsports experience, including experience in the technical director role at Stewart-Haas Racing and 6 years as a race-winning crew chief in both the NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series. In his new role, all competition departments will report to Klossmeyer, while Klossmeyer will report to Rodden. Richard Boswell has been named the crew chief of the number 3 Chevrolet in the NASCAR Cup Series and will be paired with driver Austin Dillon. Having grown up in a racing family, Boswell brings more than 15 years of professional motorsports experience as a crew chief, engineer, and driver. He most recently completed his first full season as a Cup Series crew chief, having posted 1 win and qualified for the NASCAR playoffs with Stewart-Haas Racing and Chase Briscoe. And then Randall Burnett will continue with Kyle Busch. So, yes, we learned a couple of months ago that it was going to be Andy Petrie heading out the door. He was the competition director. The official terminology was that he retired, but obviously they were going to have to replace him at some point. Keith Rodden got named the interim competition director, and now Keith Rodden is going to be vice president of competition. So that's going to be, I guess, the second in command at RCR, below Richard Childress maybe. And then below him will be John Klossmeyer, and that will be the technical director. That will do, I guess, more with the actual cars themselves. Rodden will be handling a bunch of things with the actual race team, the competition, and then also, some marketing, some sponsorship, all that kind of stuff. So he's got a little bit of everything. Klossmeyer's got the technical stuff. He's got the race car stuff. And then, of course, the new crew chief, Richard Boswell. Boswell, obviously, as the statement said, he has won a race as a NASCAR crew chief. He's a young crew chief. He does not have a lot of experience as a crew chief, but he's had some success. They didn't just win a race last year. They won the Southern 500. That's one of the most difficult races to win. Obviously, Austin Dillon and the 3 team, outside of Richmond, it was a horrible year. And even with Richmond, the way he won that race, still pretty rough year. But it was a really bad year for Richard Childress Racing as a whole. The 8 and the 3 missed the playoffs. Kyle Busch did not win a race this year. Austin Dillon won a race, but he had to obliterate 2 people to do it. And the fact of the matter is, RCR needed change. If you look at their trajectory since the next-gen car, they had a really good 2022, where Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick made the playoffs. They both won races. Reddick won 3 races. Then they signed Kyle Busch, a very, very big deal. And Kyle Busch in his first season wins 3 races. In fact, he won 3 races in the first half of the season. Problem is, Kyle Busch hasn't won since June of 2023. And it's been rough. He got close at the Southern 500. He got close at Atlanta in the spring. He got close at Daytona in the fall. But they didn't win this year. And with a driver like Kyle Busch at your team, he's going to demand success, and you should have success. You have a guy who is still in a pretty good place in his career, age-wise, a 2-time Cup champion, and you're not providing the resources, you're not giving him good enough equipment. And don't get me wrong, Kyle Busch made his fair share of mistakes this year too, but as a whole, RCR this year was a disaster. They needed change. The first one came with Petrie leaving. Well, now they've went outside of the doors of RCR to pick up some new people, and they went and got some Stewart-Haas people. Of course, Stewart-Haas Racing shutting down. A lot of those people need new homes, need new jobs, and we'll see how they mesh. I don't know how it's going to go. I have no idea what kind of changes are going to actually happen, how much this is going to improve the performance of the car, but the fact of the matter is RCR needed changes. This year was really bad. Frankly, it's been pretty bad since the summer of 2023. I know they made the playoffs. I think Kyle Busch advanced to the round of 12, but ever since that win at Gateway, it's been pretty rough for Kyle Busch and the number 8 team, and it's been rough for RCR. They've got 1 win since then, and they had to obliterate Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin to do it. So It's going to be a big moment for Richard Boswell as a crew chief. It's going to be a big moment for John Klossmeyer as the technical director. Obviously, Boswell, we'll see how he meshes with Austin Dillon. I hope they give him time to develop because, as I said, they rotate that crew chief position on the 3-car a lot, it seems like. So hopefully they give him some time. Hopefully they let those two develop, and hopefully they can reach some potential. Hopefully they can make the playoffs. Austin Dillon actually makes the playoffs like every other year, so that's somewhat consistent, but maybe they can make the playoffs every year. Maybe they can win a race every year. I don't know. Maybe that's setting the bar too high. I don't know. But Richard Childress Racing, after a bad 2024 season, had to change a lot of big names, and they've done so. So we'll see how it goes. But that's all I got for now. It's been a stacked couple of days in the news. Todd Gilliland changing his number. RFK expanding. 2311 expanding. Obviously, the drivers impacted by that with Herbst and Priest. COTA changing. RCR changing. I'm probably missing some things. I think Travis Mack's now the crew chief at the 42 car. Just change everywhere, man. So can't wait to see what tomorrow brings at this rate. But thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Any other news I will get to you. Las Vegas Grand Prix coming up this weekend. Hopefully it's another great race like it was last year. And I'll see you guys for that at the very latest.